Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a former coach is behind bars following accusations of having inappropriate relationships with at least 2 students. And in Pulaski County, 4 new projects are announced, including 2 at the John Sherman Cooper Station. We'll tell you what it all means.
And we had a nice amount of rain across eastern Kentucky, but when's it going to let up? I'll have the answer in a few minutes.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
An eastern Kentucky high school coach is in jail amid claims of a sexual relationship with students. Dustin was arrested amid claims involving students on the high school girls' soccer team. Beeler was also the track and field coach in Estill County. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what he's accused of and what school leaders are saying about their actions.
The Estill County school system has an anonymous tip line where students can report anything that is concerning to them.
Last Tuesday, we got an anonymous tip about the situation. The principal contacted DCBS.
State police launched an investigation into assistant girls soccer and head track and field coach Samuel Dustin Beeler. Police looked into allegations involving Beeler and 2 soccer players, one saying Beeler sent her inappropriate Snapchat messages, another saying that she was having a sexual relationship with him.
The employee was contacted and told not to have any contact going further with any Estill County student.
According to Kentucky State Police, Beeler admitted to having a sexual relationship with at least one of the students, but denied sending inappropriate messages to the other one. School leaders say they're cooperating with authorities, and students and staff impacted have services available to them.
Yeah, I mean, we have a crisis management team that takes care of situations like this. We have enacted them, and they're there to support our students or any staff member that may need it.
Police say the sexual encounters between Beeler and a student happened between the night of October 31st and the early morning of November 1st. In Estill County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Beeler remains in the Three Forks Regional Jail, where he said he did not want to talk to us about the claims. One Floyd County Schools employee is answering to charges of sexual assault nearly 30 years later. WYMT's Buddy Forbes was in the courtroom as he made his plea and was sentenced.
Shauna Absher has waited decades to face the teacher who she says began sexually assaulting her at the age of 17.
I was being raped and sodomized for 2 years in the classroom during school with the lights out.
From 1995 until 1997, Absher was a student at the former Garth Vocational High School in Floyd County. During that time, she says her history teacher, John Martin, raped and sodomized her.
You stole my hand and took my virginity. You even filmed it and you made me watch the film at your home.
Saying he forced her to perform oral sex on him almost every day she was on campus.
I felt so small and so dirty when you raped me. And I'm still trying to clean the garbage off of me that you put on me.
Martin was indicted on charges of rape and sodomy earlier this year and entered a guilty plea on amended charges during sentencing Thursday before hearing Absher's victim impact statement.
It was empowering, but I felt like it was a little bit of a letdown because it's like a slap on the wrist for doing what he did to me.
Martin was sentenced to 1 year of probation on 1 count of sexual misconduct and cannot contact Absher or be in the presence of minors for 2 years.
This is what you want to do? Is this you agree to this plea agreement?
Well, sir, I was told that I had, I really didn't have, I had to agree to this plea agreement.
No, ma'am, you do not have to. No, ma'am, you do not have to agree to the plea agreement.
Absher and her family originally hoped to see Martin serve jail time and be registered as a sex offender. But with the age of the crime and the different laws now in place for burden of proof, the Commonwealth decided a deal was the best option.
All right, so this happened in 1995. That today, you'd be looking at several years and saying the same, sir.
Though she does not feel justice was served, Absher said she hopes her case will show anyone hiding in silence that they are not alone.
If it happens to one kid, everything I've been through is worth just one child.
In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
It took nearly 30 years for Absher to see her day in court, but she says she would encourage anyone in a similar situation to come forward sooner, saying there is no perfect timeline, but there is support on the other side. Here is part of a statement released by the Floyd County School District about the situation this afternoon. Quote, "In all matters concerning the court's determinations, Floyd County Schools will fully comply with the mandated court orders once we have received finalization from the court. His employment with Floyd County Schools will be terminated immediately." You can read the entire statement at WYMT.com. A joint investigation led to a first-of-its-kind drug lab seizure in southern Kentucky. The Knox County and Laurel County Sheriff's offices say they executed a search warrant at a home in London where stolen guns were found. There, they also found meth, morphine tablets, a meth lab, and a DMT lab. Officials say they believe this is the first lab of its kind seized in either county. DMT is a Schedule I hallucinogen. 48-year-old Robert Wayne Simons was arrested on drug charges. We have an update on a story we first brought you yesterday. One person was killed in a crash in Menifee County, and we can now tell you who was killed. The Menifee County coroner says the victim was identified as Manuel Whitley of Wolfe County. He was driving a dump truck which crashed along US 460 near the Wellington community.
Wow, we had a nice amount of rain across eastern Kentucky. Some places picking up as much as 1.5 inches. Some places well over 1.5 inches, closer to 2 inches. Take a look here at the rainfall totals over the past 24 hours. Now, this is Doppler radar estimated. And if we go ahead and take a look here at the average across the area, the average was about 1 inch. Again, over towards Harlan, picking up about 1.6 inches. Jackson Hazard area picking up a quick inch. Pikeville picking up about 1.5 inches. Moorhead picking up about 1.5 inches. As well. So some much needed rain was in the cards for today. Here's the latest right now with live pinpoint Doppler radar. You can see that rain continuing to push through across portions of Pike County at this hour. The rain chances will start to dwindle down as we go throughout the next several hours. They'll stay in there, but they'll be very small. A lot of us won't see much of anything in the overnight hours. Today, though, in terms of highs, we made it into the mid-50s, some places even upper 40s and low 50s. Clintwood only made it to 49. Grundy made it to 50. Outside, we're seeing rain across portions of Knott County, courtesy of the Kentucky Mesonet camera. 47's current temperature in Clintwood, 48 in Grundy. Pikeville is at 49. 50 is the current temperature in Hazard, 51 in Prestonsburg. Jackson is checking in with 52. London is at 53. So when you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the mid to upper 40s will greet you. Low 50s will be the rule towards Prestonsburg. Now, coming up in the first alert forecast, we're going to talk about when the rain chances will let up. And then there's a big change coming this time next week, and we'll dissect that coming up in a few minutes. Steve?
Eric, thank you. Kentucky's Housing Task Force released its final report this week. It found the Commonwealth is short 206,000 housing units. They say the shortage is expected to continue to grow if the trends continue. The task force heard recommendations from several presenters on ways to improve the shortage. Among the recommendations were streamlining the permitting processes and removing the current 6% sales tax on manufactured homes.
We do have one piece of legislation that I'll be filing in January that, again, it's a little bitty piece to a great big problem.
Senator Jimmy Higdon says he hopes to see other legislation filed this session to fill in some of the other pieces of Kentucky's housing puzzle. Today, an announcement was made by East Kentucky Power Cooperative for multiple new projects. WYMT's Amelia Lee explains the impact behind the 4 projects EKPC is starting to work on.
Grateful and pleased. That's how longtime Cooper Station plant manager Philip Duncan describes his emotions regarding East Kentucky Power Cooperative's plans for new and expanded units at the Cooper Station.
We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. And, you know, just as they were excited back in those days when this place was constructed, I can see that same excitement in our employees now.
Plans for the Cooper Station include a new natural gas unit, effectively tripling the power plant's capacity. EKPC also plans to convert one of the units to use either coal or natural gas as fuel.
This is an investment in the reliability of rural Kentucky's electric service. really for the next couple of decades.
Continuing to promote reliable power options, especially during times folks are using a lot of electricity.
We're doing these projects with an eye toward keeping electricity as affordable, as cost competitive as we possibly can. We understand that electricity is something that everybody depends on.
EKPC officials say they are on track to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 35% by 2035.
Because one of the most important hedges in this marketplace is to make sure that you reduce your greenhouse gas emissions. There's a big focus on that, and we respect and we're going to honor that transition.
Before the announcement of plans on Thursday, officials say the Cooper station could have closed by 2032.
Now we feel like our life for this station has been extended out well past 2030, 2040 time range.
Some construction is expected to start by 2027 and be completed by the end of 2030. In Pulaski County, Amelia Lee, WYMT, Mountain News.
Outside of the Cooper station, EKPC officials say they plan to build a new natural gas plant in Casey County, add renewable resources in Fayette and Marion counties, as well as expanding energy efficiency programs. Martin County is receiving more than $95,000 in tobacco settlement funds from the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund. That funding will be used for the County Agriculture Investment Program. The program works to improve and diversify current farm operations for Kentucky agricultural producers through cost share assistance. The state director for the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced 23 projects in rural Kentucky that will improve energy efficiency. 2 of those are in our area, and both are in Pike County. Cox Foods LLC will use a grant worth more than $211,000 to install display cases, replace a walk-in freezer door, and more. And Ramsey Home Place LLC will use a grant worth $29,000 to install energy-efficient heat pumps. 31 high schools in Kentucky have received the prestigious College Success Award, and there were quite a few schools in our area that received that honor. The schools chosen were Barberville City School, Corbin High School, Hazard High School, Paintsville High School, Somerset High School, South Laurel High School, Southwestern High School, and Williamsburg City School. The award honors public high schools that excel at preparing students to succeed in college. The visitation for a well-known former educator in Perry County is going on right now. Nancy Sutton died earlier this week in Lexington. She taught at both MC Napier and Hazard High Schools and was also a former principal. Her funeral will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. at Maggard's Mountain View Chapel. Sutton will be buried at 3 p.m. in Lexington.
All right, weather headlines for tonight. The rain chances will continue throughout the overnight hours. We will clear out for the weekend, but there's a big pattern flip in the forecast. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
And we hear from AAA officials about what you need to do to get your vehicle winter ready.